remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about Deuteronomy 8. It says, do not forget the Lord. That is the title of the chapter. And listen very carefully. You're going to see really quickly how I'm right about everything. 1, be careful to follow every command I'm giving you today, so that you may live and increase and may enter and possess the land the Lord promised on oath to your ancestors, right? The land in the spiritual realm. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what is in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. This is part of why you see a lot of my videos are very angry at people for their lack of heart, right? Bad judgment and a lack of mental clarity because of a wicked heart are connected. They have a wicked heart, so they date with conformist scales. They date with racial scales. They accept the orders from the military, police, corporations, their gangs, whatever group they're in. They let them tell them who to date. Okay? Because God's commands aren't in their hearts. The mere commands of the state or criminal organizations or their parents or their friends, those are in their heart. And it's very, very pitiful. Let's go over verse 2 again. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. Now, a lot of people are some evil, petty people. And they say things like, well, if you're so humble, why do you say you're the top martial artist? Would Moses say that God spoke to him and he's supposed to lead? Yes. Did David say he could face Goliath and then he faced him? Yes. David said he's so good that he could beat Goliath even though he's very small compared to Goliath. He said, you people, you never know what you're talking about. I've never come across someone who sought to correct me, okay, on religious issues, on martial art issues, that knew what they're talking about. They never know. 3, he humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Okay, this part is key. You see, this part connects to John 6, verses 25 through 59, especially verses 30 through 33, where Christ is a character in the story says, I am the bread of life. Whoever believes in me won't hunger or thirst, right? And in Matthew 5, he says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness' sake. Okay, now why is he saying this? Because what really sustains your soul is righteousness. What really gives you life, a life worth living. Now, why does he say that I am the bread of life? Because there's no way to be righteous without obeying God through me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to heaven but by obeying God through me. And again, how do we know that it's me? Okay, it's part of why it says in the Bible, why don't you judge for yourselves what is right? Okay, we know for many, many reasons. One is right here in Deuteronomy 8, where it says, remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. Then I keep the commands of God, and from my heart, I became the top martial artist ever. It's like the saying in popular culture, right? Show me your heart, or he has heart. My heart is the heart that allowed me to be the top martial artist ever possible, the most sought after position in human history. People with sense don't want to be Tesla. They don't want to be George Washington or George Bush. Okay, they want to be the top martial artist ever possible. Okay, movies about presidents are boring. Movies about martial arts historically were the exciting movies that people wanted to watch, people with sense. Okay, and they're nothing compared to striking with focused moral intensity from God. It's straightforward. Martial is marital scrambled, and I'm the bridegroom. God revealed himself to Moses as I am that I am. Deuteronomy is written by Moses. Okay, and also martial art M.A backwards is M. Say, who am I? And there's all kinds of, connections, right? Whose hands have gathered up the wind to strike a blow, right? Striking is, the word tries king, right? The word striking, when broken down, is tries king, right? King tries, okay? And there's a lot of connections like that. The sword of Scripture, spirit and spear, okay? And in Deuteronomy, it says that part of the wonders and signs and proof of God was in the mighty hand of God. and the root and offspring of David, right? And the bright morning star in Revelation 19, waging war in righteousness and justice, Isaiah 42:13, where the Lord marches out like a champion, like, you know, he stirs up his steel like a mighty warrior, like a champion. His zeal, not people trying to steal. Okay, it goes on to say, your clothes did not wear out and your feet did not swell during these 40 years. Know then in your heart that a man disciplines his son, so the Lord your God disciplines you. Observe the commands of the Lord your God, walking in obedience to him and revering him, right? Obeying God, which means obeying God through me. Luke 6:46, anyone ever questions why you have to obey God through me? You know, Luke 6:46 and Proverbs 16:12, really 16:10 through 12 make it clear. Luke 6:46, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? In Proverbs 16:10, a divine decision is on the lips of the king, the actions of the king as his representative. He should not give an unfair judgment, right? God's verdict, a divine verdict, okay? In Proverbs 16:12, it says the throne is established through righteousness, and New Living Translation, justice, right? Focus, moral intensity, insisting on romantic justice. What's more focus, moral intensity, and focus righteousness than being the top martial arts ever and striking from your heart, from your soul, from your spirit, drawing on the spirit of the Lord in a way that no one could possibly match, no known person. So you have to go by what you know and not fairy tale. Okay, a fairy tale interpretation of the Bible is that Jesus is going to be floating like a fairy on a cloud. Okay, but if you really do your due diligence, you'll see that the cloud, and I've proven this a million times over, okay, refers to a collection of the warrior spirit of God, the souls in the spirit of the righteous, right? The armies of heaven. Jeremiah 4:13, look, he advances like the clouds, his chariots come like a whirlwind. There's these constant comparisons to martial art ideas, warrior ideas, to the clouds and the wind and the rain and the driving flood, the consuming fire, what have you.